What's going on, guys? This is Brian from Advancement Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about how you can use elite prospects as a tool throughout your hockey career. All right, so most of you here have probably heard of elite prospects so far, especially if you're currently playing junior hockey or something like that, but if you haven't, basically all elite prospects is this database tool that you use. You search up either a player's name, a team's name, a league's name, whatever, anything around those lines. And it basically gives you a bunch of stats, a bunch of data on that particular player or team or league, So it's actually a really good tool to go and find out some useful info about players, teams, or leagues as well. So I can't stress how important this is here, is that elite prospects is the go-to tool pretty much for, any hockey coach, any hockey players trying to find out about other hockey players, all that kind of stuff. It's the key database that everyone uses in hockey, okay? There's also My Hockey Rankings that's used to rank different programs and all that stuff for certain things, but Elite Prospects is really the main one that people are gonna go to here. So the whole point of this video here is to show you step by step, give you a nice guide where I'm gonna share my screen again, similar to a video we did a couple weeks ago. Basically, I'm gonna share my screen and show you exactly how I use Elite Prospects and how you can best use it moving forward. Just a quick note I want to touch on here is that Elite Prospects really only starts recording player stats around the bantam level. It can vary, it could go a little bit younger, but from what I've seen, bantam's really where it starts, and sometimes it doesn't even start till midget depending on where you're at. And typically it won't go at the A levels where it starts to get a little bit iffy. It won't go to the B level. It might go to the AA level. It gets iffy around there, but it really goes for the higher end levels typically. So that's just one thing to note. If you don't, find yourself on Elite Prospects when you search your name, that might be the reason why. All right, now before I share my screen, I think this would be a great time to just remind you to absolutely smash that like button if you haven't already. And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, so basically we got the Elite Prospects page in front here. So if you go to eliteprospects.com, you'll see this pop up, okay? So let's just start with a quick player search here. So this basically, anytime you get, your coach sees your name, or if I see a player's name, anything like that, we'll search for the player's name. That'll be the first thing we do. So we go on eliteprospectshere.com, and we'll just do my partner, David DeChevy here, just because he's actually a prime example of, things you can look at here. So we'll just search him up real quick. You see I popped up. So this is David back when he was in junior hockey. It's an old picture here, but basically, if you just scroll here real quick, the views here, it'll just tell you how many people viewed the profile. So that's a quick little feature, but it's not really what we look at. So first thing coaches will look at, and that we'll look at, is basically the date of birth, make sure everything lines up, position, you'll look at height, weight, all that kind of stuff, where they're from, and from there we just scroll down everywhere where the player played throughout their hockey career, basically starting, like we said, bantam hockey or sometimes midget hockey. That's where it typically starts. And the main things that we're going to look at here is the total points, right? That's typically the main stat. That's why it's in bold. That's the one that people look at, and then the games played. Okay. Typically elite prospects won't give your points per game average, but you can calculate that out really quick, right? If you do a quick calculation, you just do total points divided by the games played. But it gives you a nice estimation here, and it gives you a nice sense of where players played, right? It gives you their whole resume pretty much in a nutshell. That's why it's such a powerful tool, and almost every player is on here if you've played at a good level. So that's how we typically use it for players. You can keep scrolling down, you can get some more info, but honestly at this point people usually stop. The sign up for premium button, we can get back to that in a sec. I do want to talk about that afterwards. But overall, when you're searching for a player, you're going to look at the basic info up here, the basic player facts, and then you're going to look at their hockey resume altogether. And from there, coaches, advisors, all that kind of stuff, you can kind of get an idea of, you can get an initial picture of the player. The Elite Prospects page and the stats isn't the end all be all. You do want to see the player play, right? You want to, you want to see them play so you can get a better idea if they're the right fit for you or not. But this right here initially gives you a nice filter for players that are going to be worth investing your time in to watch play or not, right? So that's how coaches kind of approach it. And that's how you can kind of approach, where players have played and all that kind of stuff. So that's one way to do it. Another way is you can search up a league. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do NCAA D3, just as an example here. All right, so there we go. So it comes up like this, right? It gives you all the different teams in that particular league, right? In NCAA D3. And so you can look at it this way, which is in alphabetical order. But what's also useful here is if you look at a specific season, okay? So obviously, pandemic, we won't look at that season. We're gonna go here. So it basically gives you a nice view of the standings of each different conference, right? So that's very nice. What's useful about this is, okay, we see it for 1 year, but if we go year by year, so if we go 2018, 2019, you can kind of get an idea who is at the top. And then as you keep doing this more and more, you can start getting an idea, okay, who's consistently at the top here. So these past 2 years, you see Salve Regina, they were actually at the top for those past 2 years. In that particular conference. So it gives you an idea, okay, where do teams stand in that particular league, right? NCAA D3 there's so many teams, there's about 80 teams in there, give or take a little bit more, I think. It gives you an idea, okay, which ones are actually at the top, which ones are middle of the pack, and which ones are usually at the bottom. So it's a really good tool for that to identify where teams stand in leagues. The next thing I want to look at here is searching for particular teams. So we're just gonna go do Oswego, SUNY Oswego right here. So that's an NCAA D3 team. Typically every year they're a powerhouse team. Here you search for, but obviously the rosters are a little bit iffy because of COVID. We're gonna go before the pandemic here. So what's useful about this here is that you can actually see the whole roster of the team. And why this is useful is you can go and say, okay, let's say you're a forward and you wanna go play SUNY Oswego one day. Well, by looking at where players have played in the past, by looking at their specific resumes, you can kind of gauge, okay, like this is where they played. Do I have a similar resume? Do I actually have a shot at playing in this program, right? So let's just click on a random player here and you see, okay, wow, this player actually had a very good career in the CCHL, right? So it gives you an idea what kind of players actually play at SUNY Oswego, and obviously, this player here, he did very well in his freshman year at SUNY Oswego. So this would be one of the higher end players on a high end Division III team. Okay, so these are the kind of inferences you can start to make by looking at elite prospects. So just for fun, we can go ahead and look at another one here. So let's click on this guy here, Tyson Gertby. All right, so he actually had a relatively good career in the CCHL as well. And again, his first year, in Oswego, his first year, he played probably a little less than half the games, did okay. But then the second year is really where he started to shine. And you'll see this at the NCAA level. Oftentimes a freshman year, you just, you get into things, and then the second year you can start to shine and stuff. But this is another player that's now one of their higher end players, okay? So he played in the CCHL and did well there. You'll see players that give or take have a better or worse resume, but typically it'll be around that average, So those are the kind of players that are gonna be playing there. And that's what's so powerful about this tool. It gives you an idea of what kind of resume you need to play for that specific program. So that's the last way that we would look at it. The last thing here that I want to touch on, like we touched about a while ago, is the premium sign up here. So basically, if you click on this, it basically gives you all the different things that free versus premium offers. In my opinion, 95 to 98% of the time, premium is not going to be worth it for players. I think there are some nice features, like you can link your video in there. You can change your basic info if it's inaccurate. You can change your profile picture. You can also request to update stats, and that'd be the one reason why I think it would be worth it if your stats are inaccurate. But overall, I don't think that the cost that you have to pay per month is worth it, and that's just me being honest here. But if your stats are inaccurate, I think it is worth it in that point to potentially pay for at least a month or something and contact elite prospects to get them, updated. Outside that point, it's worth it. But overall, I would say the premium feature, yeah, you could get it if you want, but you won't lose anything if you don't get it. So overall, those are the main ways that you basically look at elite prospects. If there's anything that I missed, I would love to hear from you guys, but I would say these are the main tools I use basically to navigate elite prospects and get the information I need. So, but yeah, if there's anything, definitely let us know. We'd love to hear about it. All right, that is it for the screen sharing. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Just to summarize here, we're gonna do a quick recap of the main points that we talked about in the screen share and that you can use. All right, so first we talked about searching a player's name, getting a sense of their resume and where they played. Second, we talked about searching for a specific league. And what this does is allow you to gauge, where teams stand year by year in that specific league. Third, we talked about searching for a specific team. And what this tells you is it gives you the list of players, right? And from there you can kind of see, where the players typically come from and what the team typically looks for in their players. And last but not least here, fourth, we talked about the premium profile of elite prospects. All right, guys, that is it for the video. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about throughout the video, feel free to drop a comment down below. Or if you want to talk to us privately, feel free to send us an email at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And again, if you're new here and if you got any kind of value out of this video, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video and we'll catch you on that next one.